Hi everyone, my name's Anna Griffin. Welcome to card making tutorial 632. In today's tutorial we're going to create a gorgeous card that's a little bit different, and we're using very minimal of our Anna Griffin supplies. Now the only thing that I've used as in dies and stamps from our Anna Griffin supplies is one stamp from our vintage frame sentiment stamp and die set, and it's the congratulations stamp. So obviously if you don't actually have this set, you could substitute this for any of the other stamps, plus also, you know, you might want to use it for a different occasion. So it's kind of like, that's what we've used, that one stamp. I have used nesting dies in a fancy shape that were just general nesting dies for one shape and then a square. So you'll see as we go along. I've got to say, this is a very beautiful card, or it will be, and we're going to use rub-ons. Now I'm not going to show you how to put your rub-ons on because we've covered that many times, and I think for most of you, you know how to do that. But what we are going to do is I want to show you something a little bit different of how to use your rub-ons instead of just using them in their entirety. Everything I do use I should put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. The base card I'm using is a 6x6 inch square ivory card. I'm going to use my bone folder from the Anna Griffin tool collection, and I'm just going to run along the edge of the card to make sure that is a nice sharp crease at the top. I've also used my Anna Griffin handmade by stamp on the back. I never show that with the preview because, you know, some people have got the handmade by stamp, some people just write the name. Lots of people do it in lots of different ways, just showing you how I do it. So it's the handmade by stamp, I add my name, and then I just add the tutorial number to keep me in line so that I remember which is which. So we're going to put the inside in first. Now as I say, I'm not going to show you how to use rub-ons. And now you're all thinking, oh, how have you done that? That looks so complicated. Believe me, it isn't. I've taken the rub-ons and I've snipped them in half, and I've made sure I've gone over the edge with the rub-on, and then the half that I've used, the other half is at the other side of the card. So you can quite plainly see where I've split the rub-on to make it go twice as far. This is a very simple technique. I inked the insert first and then added the rub-ons, and the ink I've used was peeled paint from the range of Distress inks. So I've added the rub-ons and then I've stamped the word congratulations twice. That's it. It is the most simple and the prettiest of inserts, I think. I've got double-sided tape on the back. Now the size of the ivory panel that I've cut in the ivory cardstock was 5.8 inches by 5.8 inches. So using your rub-ons, not in their entirety, and using just sections of them, they can go twice as far, and you know, they just look so pretty when you go over the edge with them, rather than just using them in their entirety in the centre. So you can spread them out a little bit and just do something a little bit different. Can you imagine how that would look with poinsettias for Christmas and holly? There we go, we might have to make this again using festive ones. So I'm just adding the insert to the inside of the card, and I'm going to press that down, and that is my insert complete. And it just works so well, and it's going to work so well with the outside. I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure that crease is nice and sharp again at the top. And for the first layer on the outside, I've done the same thing with the rub-ons. I've cut a piece of ivory cardstock, 5.8 inches by 5.8 inches. I've inked around the edges with peeled paint distress ink, just very lightly to take away just that harsh ivory edge. And then I've taken the rub-ons, and it's the the Floral rub-on transfers from Anna Griffin. And I've cut them and then placed them around the edge. So you can see this one here, the other half of it is here. This section is the top of this one. This is this, and this is this at this side. So it's just snipping them, half here, half there. And that's all it is. And using, I didn't even use one full sheet. So, and to be quite honest, some from the sheet, I shouldn't show you this, but I will. I've used on my phone cover. So there we go. Very quick glance at that. And it just jazzes it up a little bit. So this is the first layer of the card. So it's just got flat double-sided tape on the back. And I'm adding this just in the centre. There we go. And I can press that down. Our next layer is gold foil. So there I am, giving you a wave. And I've got 3D foam on the back. I've used just a square die to cut this. And I'm just going to place it onto the card through the centre. There we go. Or as near to the centre as I can get, she says, being a bit finicky. There we go. Next, I'm going to put this to one side, just for a moment. My next layer is, you know, I said I used a set of nesting dies, just a fancy shape. So that's all it is, it's a fancy square. And I've used the Anna Griffin flock cardstock in lilac. I've cut out a centre square as well, just using, you know, a small square die. On the back, I've got 3D foam and I've got some tape around the edge of the square, so that's flat tape towards the edge. And then I've cut 4 little squares, and I've used the Thankfulness cardstock, and it's just such a beautiful cardstock. So I've cut little squares, and I don't want to give you a size because they go around the edge of the square that we've cut, so they're just slightly smaller. And if I give you a size, then your sizes might be different, so it depends what you've got in your stash. The squares that I've got, I'm going to fold in half diagonally, and then I'm just going to position them onto our fancy shape, like so. So the back of it is going to stick, and then we've got a flap at the front. So I'll just turn that over while I take the next one. And we're going to go around the edge of the square, add in our little square flaps. Next one. Now I've used not coordinating paper, I've used kind of like opposite, with the patterns with the pink and then the pattern with the lilac. But they're all going to work so well, especially because the rub-ons work with the Thankfulness cardstock. So then we have our little fancy shape with our little fancy squares. It will still sit flat to post, and we can go back to our card. I'm going to take the fancy shape that's now got all the 3D foam on because I had 3D foam on the back of the fancy squares. I'm going to position that through the centre over the layer of gold foil cardstock and press that down like that. I've then taken a sentiment from the mini birthday stickers and embellishment kit, and it just says happy birthday to you. So you could use any sentiment that there is. I'm just going to pop that in the centre of our centre square and press that down. I've then taken one of the thankfulness floral stickers and I'm going to add that just to the top of our card. And I'm unsure whether to pin the flap back or leave the flap. I'm thinking I'm going to just leave the flap, I think. And then for the two sides, I've got two matching but opposite sitting rose bouquets. And again, I'm undecided whether to just add them underneath, which I think I will, or over. But I think I want to see the flaps. So I'll just place those at either side. And then to finish the card off, I've got a large lilac bow. And I'm thinking that might just sit around there. There. Oh, we'll lift it up a little bit. And that is our card finished. Something a little bit different. All those gorgeous florals, you can just see the gold foil peeping out, and the flock, and the folded centre. When I move it to that side and you can see the folds, I just love the paper folding and the effects that you can get from it. And I don't do enough of it really. And you can just see how it all works together. And obviously that folds flat to go in an envelope. And then I think the inside deserves a bit of a ta-da! It's just so pretty. Gorgeous card using our floral stickers and our rub-ons from Anna. Please check the blog for so many more projects. There's so many on there now. Lots of photos as well of both inside and outside of the actual project. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.